And there are problems all over the student loan market. Take, for example, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. More than 99 out of every 100 public service workers who applied for loan forgiveness have been rejected since the Department of Education started accepting such applications. That's a major problem. What's the CFPB doing about it?
Senator, I understand that it is a significant issue, and we still have an office that is focused on student issues. They're engaged in regular education efforts expansively across the spectrum of dealing with students at every stage of the process. I'd also tell you that I take seriously that Congress created that private education loan ombudsman position. It has been vacant. Congress gave the authority to appoint the position to the Secretary of the Treasury for some reason. And so since I arrived, we've been working back and forth to get that position moved forward. The position posted last week, so I am very much looking forward to having someone in that place. We also have some responsibilities under the statute working with the Department of Education on an MOU to do information sharing on complaints and other things, and all of that is work that we will take on as soon as I can get the person on board who's going to oversee that.
Well, two things. Number one, the reason that you have a vacancy in the office is because in his resignation letter, Mr. Frotman, who had this position, said, quote, "The Bureau has abandoned the very consumers it is tasked by Congress with protecting. The Bureau has undercut enforcement of the law, undermined the Bureau's independence, shielded bad actors from scrutiny." That's why you have a vacancy. So you have an environment and the wrong mission. And you didn't respond to my question about the public service loan forgiveness. Why is it that 99% of PSLF applicants are being denied? Are loan services at fault?
Senator, that's a question for the Department of Education. Certainly it's their process and program when it comes to federal student loans. As you know, it's 92% of the market is with the federal side. That's why I do want to have a conversation with the Department of Education about their responsibilities and our responsibilities and how we can make sure we're working together to protect students.
It's your responsibility to oversee, whether it's the Department of Education, whether it's a private lender, whoever it is, to make sure that you're protecting consumers. Telling me that it's the Department of Education is just simply not acceptable. And the fact that you haven't had that conversation as of yet, when 99% are being denied, there's something desperately wrong. In 2017, the CFPB updated its manual for student loan services supervision to include examining loan services practices around the PSLF program. So pursuant to the examination manual that is currently on your website, have you examined why 99% of PSLF applicants have been rejected?
Senator, again, I understand why you're asking the question, and it's an important one. With 3 months on the job, I don't have a specific answer to your question on this topic, but it is one that's important.
Can you tell me whether it's no longer the CFPB's practice to review how loan servicers handle the PSLF program, despite it being in your examination manual?
Senator, I would have to get back to you to answer your question specifically, which I'm happy to do.
Well, let me just say on that, following up, I think one of my colleagues raised the question of the Military Lending Act. You have authorities over the entities the supervisory authority over the entities you regulate, do you not?
With respect to enforcement, our authority is very clear, and we will continue to take action where we find violations of the military lending.
You need to use your authorities, and you're just not doing that. And 3 months on the job, that's not the answer. You need to make this a priority. And if you don't, you're not helping consumers. And the whole purpose of this entity is to stand up for the little guy against those who have enormous power and the ability to push back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.